Welcome to a new video of mine. Today it's March the 3rd of the year 2025 and today's video is an energy update for this month. Like, subscribe and share. My name is Murat and I'm just going to dive into this. So, there are aspects of the energy at play that I have mentioned in the months before, even in the years before, and I will keep mentioning in the coming months and even coming years because they're crucial and they're lasting for a long period of time. And the first aspect is the importance of grounding. Grounding meaning connecting with Mother Earth, connecting with your own body. Really being in your body, not being up here thinking all the time, going down here and feeling. Feeling how things are affecting you, feeling what is true to you or not, feeling what it is that you need in this moment. Not only focusing on what others are telling you and what you think that you need because of the past or what people have been saying. This is very important. Yeah, you just saw it. Staying hydrated is also one that you will keep hearing me repeat. It is important for your body to be hydrated. And not just drinking loads of water, but preferably hydrated with electrolytes. So I do add a pinch of salt, Celtic salt, into the water. The salt and the additional minerals to help the body absorb better the water and hydrate your cells, truly, not just flushing your kidneys. So back to the energies. Slow is fast. What does it mean? Maybe you already recognize it. Maybe you feel like not speeding anymore. Or you want to speed, but something is holding you back. Or every time you speed, you hit a speed bump, you hit a wall, you make a mistake, things go wrong. Well, this is because we need to slow down so that we can adapt to the instant changes that are happening. A lot of things are happening now, a lot of changes are happening. So we cannot make a plan and just stick with it and start running all the way through it. By slowing down, we can adapt, change course where needed, make adjustments where needed. This way, we will reach much faster our true destination. Not end up somewhere where we really didn't want to be. Does this make sense to you? Do you recognize this? Feel free to leave a comment and tell me about it, how you're experiencing this. It is also normal, especially if you are in the northern hemisphere of this planet, to do things a bit slower because it's still winter time. And in winter time, we are slower. We gain fat, or maybe we already have accumulated it, and we needed to get through the winter, which for many plants, many animals means hibernating, taking things a little bit easier, slowing down. This does not mean that you cannot be productive. You just need to be a bit smarter to be productive. And by smarter I mean slowing down, being aware of your situation, of where you are. You may also have heard about dimension jumping. And it's not like in science fiction movies, you jump into another reality and you're suddenly there. Although some say this is what is happening in reality. But to keep it more earthly and more 3D and more understandable for you and me, I would say it's more about your experiences that you're having and the deep impressions that you get. 20 years ago, I would spend half a year or a whole year with one focus point, my burnout. I had two of them, one shortly after the other. So you can imagine what my life looked like. Quite boring, we would say today. Back then it was normal that you would be focused on one thing, maybe having two things at a time, especially in one day. But today we may have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe even 10 different intense impressions, intense moments, which are about different areas of our lives. Some connect to the past, some connect to the present, some relate to what may happen in the future, some related to our emotional aspects, some to our physical aspects, some to our relationships. All of that can happen in one day. Just like everything is happening faster, or time seems to move faster. And yes, a lot has been speeding up. This is also why we need to slow down, because in all that speedy world we live in now, if we do not slow down, we'll just start hitting walls, hitting corners everywhere. And when we slow down, we also actually do get to process all these impressions or these memories that come back to us, or these intense experiences. We can process them and let them go, so we can move forward freely, not carrying with us all what we still have to digest. And this leads us to the next point. This is also a period where we can set ourselves free from our own oppression and suppression. I myself, for example, have not been able to fully express myself when it comes to the subject of sexuality, when it comes to teaching people about sexuality, sexual trauma, and everything that is related to that. Because I was raised, and not just during my youth, but even when I was in my 20s or my 30s, there was a lot of shame connected to the subject of sexuality in general. And I'm sure most of you recognize this. Even if some of you are rebellions and just went and fucked everyone they could fuck, or went out there and just walked around naked on the street, on the beach, in dance clubs, whatever, still, I'm sure that most of you do know exactly what I'm talking about. And being free does not mean you go and you just do whatever you want when it comes to sexual activity and stuff like that. It's about accepting who you are, accepting what you're feeling and how you feel about certain aspects of your own sexuality, your own experience, your own interactions with others, how you feel within your own body, and from there express yourself freely. Which also means letting that sexual energy flow freely, and the sexual energy coming from the second chakra. And if you do not know too much about chakras, on my website under tips and tools you will find chakra basics. It's a very simple chapter where I explain in the easiest possible way what chakras are and what each chakra does. But the second chakra is not just the sexual energy like sex, having sex, or feeling sexual or expressing your sexuality, but it's also your creation energy, not just creating babies, creation in general. For an artist, it's creating art. For me, it's creating workshops, building things with my hands, which is one of the things I love a lot, even repairing things, fixing things. For somebody else, it can be cooking, baking. For some people, it's cleaning. I love it and I do an amazing job at it. And that energy is also the energy that brings money and prosperity, that brings abundance, when you can truly express yourself. The self-oppression is not just about the sexual energy, but it's often related to it. But it could also, for example, another example would be your expression. Speaking. Some people have a blockage here in the throat chakra, meaning you cannot truly say what you feel, what you think, what you came here to say. Expression is actually also one of the themes. This is also a period where it's time for you to start to express yourself. Speaking up, speaking your truth. Without the fear of what others may think or how they react to it. If somebody is offended by you speaking your truth, it's their interpretation. It's related to their personal experiences, and so it's not your problem. You're not doing anything wrong. It's their mess to clean up. It means they have unresolved trauma. They have unresolved issues. They have unrelieved blockages. So they should say thank you. Because if they would be a little bit aware of themselves, have some self-awareness, they would realize like, hey, this may be something I want to work on so I can free myself again. This also leads to the next point, which is looking at your relationships. It's also a period to reevaluate certain relationships you have. With love relationships, friendships, partnerships, co-workers, neighbors, whatever it is. Looking at what is still benefiting you and what is working against you. Some may be neutral. No need for action. When the time is right, you will know what to do. If you need to act, if you need to release them, or if they were just dormant for now and they will wake up and help you thrive next month, next year, whatever. You may come across some relationship if you're like, okay, this is not working anymore. We both have been growing, but we grew into different directions. It happens. Sometimes you grow into very different directions. 20 years later, you end up on the same path again and you can reconnect. This is very possible. I experienced this myself with some people. This does not mean that you need to hate people or trust them or badmouth them. No. Just let go. Maybe they don't have the courage to do it, but if you release them, set them free by setting yourself also free, then maybe they can thrive again. Like, oh, thank God. Oh, okay, I was afraid of doing this. I did not know how he or she would react to this, that they would be offended or feel hurt, or And then they're very happy that you set them free and that you're moving forward, doing your thing, and they can also move freely. So don't be afraid to be the courageous one to say, hey, this is not working anymore. Sometimes you need to have that talk, and sometimes it's just a question of not interacting anymore. And again, it's not about good and bad, it's not about love and hatred. It's just you're not on the same frequency anymore. You're not on the same path. You may be going the same direction, but you're not on the same path. So let go. And by letting go, you create space for new people to come in your life who are on your path and who can help you, and you can help them move forward faster, smoother. And in these times of big changes, it can feel that you're setting steps backwards. You're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. And yes, from a certain perspective, this can be true. But if you want to shoot an arrow, what do? You pull the arrow back first. And then when you let go, same with a gun. But because of how things are going, it can seem in this moment that you're taking 2 steps back, maybe making 2.5 steps forward. So your net improvement is just half a step. And this can seem slow, inefficient, whatever. But in reality, if this is what is happening, accept it. Because the reality of things is that if you took 2 steps back and then you moved again 2 steps forward, it was not in the exact same direction. It was on a slightly different path. So you already said 2.5 steps. But because of our mind, because of our ego and our used to self-judgment and also judging others, of course, we think like, but we only crossed the line by half a step. Yeah, but you're not on the same path. You took a different path. So you had different experiences here. You had to get used to that new path, to the way of doing things, slightly differently. And from there you can move forward faster. Yes, we're still moving forward, quite fast. Just doesn't always seem that way. Because we don't see the full picture all the time. That's why I recommend often to zoom out so that you can see the bigger picture. And then you can see like, I went back, and I went forward, and I made actually so many steps. And maybe it looks like you only made half a step past the line, but that new road you took was 15 steps. So I had 15 different steps, and then you were half a step past the line. But on those 15 steps you learned so much, and you gathered so many new tools, and you got so much stronger, smarter, evolved so much, grew so much, that you're a very different person. And from there you can take a brand new direction, have brand new experiences you would never have had if you would have stayed on the old path, because that had a dead end. You would have hit a wall there. Again, a subject that's related to others, although in reality it's all about you. You may realize that certain people do not have your best interests at hand. They may be nice and kind to you, but their actions are for their well-being, for their improvement, and somehow it's not really in your best interest. There may be no intention to harm you, to slow you down or whatever, but they're just focused on their best intentions and they do not fully align anymore with yours. This is also linked to previous things. Some people are not meant to be with you anymore. That's okay. Can be disappointing, can get you angry, can get you sad, frustrated. Just accept, let it be, let those emotions flow for a moment. Take a deep breath, and from there, you can move forward again. This is why, for the past several years, I have been putting the emphasis on being grounded, being in the here and now, and being in the body. Not up here, but here. On my website, and I will put a link in the description, you can find the guide to the 5 minutes meditation. It's a guided meditation. I have a manual for it to show you physically how to sit, how to breathe, how to do these things. And it's very simple. And only 5 minutes. And when you have been practicing this for a few months, you can do it even in 3 minutes. You can get out of your mind, back into your body, calm down, be more relaxed, having clearer vision. Literally, you can see brighter things. You can see more clearly what's in front of you, resolve your issues much faster, see solutions, see opportunities, but also have much less stress, less anxiety, less anger, less frustration. And from there, actually move forward much faster. So ground. Do these short meditations several times a day. It will help you so much. Every time you feel that tension building up in your body, time out. Take a moment. Deep breaths. You will see how much it can change your life. It did for me and for many others that have taught this. I did it when still working in the corporate world, when working in a very stressful environment, in my private life, in very stressful situations, during lockdowns, when business was going completely down the toilet, when we discovered that we were pregnant, which was not planned, my first child, how do I deal with everything, what do I do? When we had to find a new place, and we had actually quite limited time to find a new place, and we couldn't really find the right place for us. We did eventually. But all these moments, I used the deep breathing, the relaxation, the short meditation to calm down, to refocus my attention, and it worked. And the people that I have taught this, they all saw their lives do this. They all started to feel better, having better results. So what's keeping you? This is an interesting one. During this month, and not just this month, but also the months after, you may rediscover some things you're great at, some abilities you have, things that you totally forgot about. And these abilities will help you in moving forward, both professionally and personally. On top of that, you may even remember or gain back abilities from previous lives. Oh yeah, reincarnation is a thing. Even in non-linear time. I've experienced it already several times. And it's not a question of I need to do a whole course of this or of that, and then I will be able to know to do things. You will be in a situation and you spontaneously know what to do. And in some cases, something will come in your path, you will start reading or observing, and then suddenly it's all awakened in you and you remember. And you know exactly what to do when you need to do it. For me, that is working with energy, with my hands energizing. That just happened like that. Somebody taught me about it. Somebody did it to me and then poof. It just started to happen. And miracles happened. So whatever it is that your powers are, they will awaken. If they haven't yet, or even if some have yet, more powers will awaken, more abilities. Whatever your powers are, doesn't matter. Those are the things, those are the tools you need to move forward. And probably to help making a difference in this world. Others, aside from you, will benefit from this too. I have two lists of bullet points for this video. That's why it's not a short one. I talked about emotions already coming up. I may have mentioned the ego. What is important for you to consciously focus on is when emotions come up, is to be aware. Aware of them, observe them, let them flow, it's okay, but observe them, and then know what to do. For that you need to ground. You ground it, you will be able to see what is a release and what is driven by the ego. The ego is so fucked up that it may choose to let you die as long as you do not have to admit that you were wrong or take a leap of faith when your brain cannot see that it's a safe path to choose. I decided very spontaneously to move away from Amsterdam to Romania. It just happened. I decided, I started acting, and then a week or two after moving, I remember my best friend calling me and asking, "How do you feel? How are you now? How do you feel?" And I was like, on the surface, tense, stressed, scared. But deep down, I feel peace. And she said, so you're okay. Good. And that was important. I knew about the deep down because I was doing my breathing, I was grounding, I was taking my moments in nature. So I knew that whatever on the surface was like super agitated was the ego, was the mind, was about, but what about this? What if that? What if that? It was about all the things that the mind could not see. The mind cannot see into the future. The mind can only make calculations based on the past, but as the world is changing, and especially now it's changing so rapidly, that basically any calculation based on the past is worthless. But deep down, your intuition will tell you what is the right direction for you to choose, to follow, to walk into. That is why grounding is so important. That's why it's so important to be in the here and now, to be in your body. And when you do this, you will realize when it's the mind talking, when it's the ego freaking out, and what's that deeper inner voice telling you. Okay. Change is happening everywhere. We're seeing it everywhere. And for those who like the concept of animal guides, the frog is the one that is represented for this month, which is about the ability to transform and to adapt. And I've talked about this already earlier in this video, but I want to name this very specifically. And again, to do this, you need to be aware, you need to be in the here and now, you need to be in your body, and you need to slow down so that you have true awareness of where you are and what the situation is, so that you know what to do, when to change direction, and so on. I hope that this video helps you in any way. I will put some bullet points in the description which will help you to recapitulate. And for those who want to have a framework to work with, I'll put a link to that too. And the framework is somehow linked to New Age children, which probably every one of you watching this video is, whether it's indigo, crystal, rainbow, diamond. We all are in a certain way. We may not know the concept, or we may not fully understand the concept, and there is a lot written about indigo but not the other ones, because somehow they come and the periods are relatively short, and then there's the next one, but indigos was a long period, and indigos are people born in the 70s, early 80s, and maybe late 60s. So these people have been working on themselves a long time, and they look at their own lives, and so they start writing about that. So there's more on indigo than on the rest. But I found a combination of a few tools that actually forms an amazing framework for you to fully understand, or at least get a grasp, if this is all new for you, of who you are and what your path is in that life. So in this framework, I combine two sciences, human design and the gene keys, where one is showing you, okay, this is how you came into this world. And these are a few things that define you. And the other is showing you, here is your potential in all aspects of your life. And here is a path that you're following in the conscious and in the subconscious. On the mind level, on the heart level, and on the spiritual level. It's a framework, so it's relatively abstract. It's not too long, not too complicated, but you can ask for it. I reserve myself 2 working days to get your framework because it's very personal and based on your birth date, time, and location. So I build it for you and I send it to you. It's free. The only thing I ask you is to subscribe to my newsletter so you will be aware of future trainings and workshops. And of course, if you would have a look at this framework and you have questions and you want to dive in deeper into one or several aspects of it, then you can book a session, of course. That's always a possibility. You can always contact me if you have questions, even after listening to this video, like, I really would like to understand this aspect better or to learn how to do this. Maybe just a guide for meditating and grounding and being in your body is not enough for you. Maybe you need somebody to guide you, to practice with you. Well, no problem. I enjoy doing that. So contact me if you have questions. Contact me if you want the framework. You know what to do and when to do it. For now, I wish you a beautiful day and hopefully see you soon. Like, subscribe, and share.